How do and welcome back. My name is Andrew Hancock and I'm a VMware technical architect from Yorkshire in the United Kingdom. I have worked with the VMware products since their inception in 1998, so that's 23 years I've been working with the VMware product line. Some of you may say if you cut Andy in half it reads VMware like a stick of rock from Blackpool. I've also written over 100 articles for Experts Exchange and won many other awards and accolades. I am honoured to have been accepted into the VMware vExpert program for the last 11 years and more recently a VMware vExpert Pro for the last 2. Hi and welcome back, and in today's Hancock's VMware half hour I'm going to show you how to install VMware Tools for Linux on a VMware Linux virtual machine hosted on a VMware vSphere Hypervisor 7 host server. This is the same server that we've been using throughout our tutorial. It's our Dell PowerEdge 730 that is running ESXi 7.0.2a. So without further ado, I'll put this link for this article in the description. Now I wrote this article about 12 months ago in 2020, May 2020, as you can see there. And there's been a big change in the last 12 months, as you may have seen in the last couple of parts where we installed Ubuntu Server and Desktop Edition 20.04.LTS. There isn't really any reason anymore to actually install VMware Tools as supplied by VMware, because the virtual machines now automatically download and install the open VMware Tools package. And this is actually recommended over the version that VMware packages and basically is available to install from the ESXi server. But to sort of maintain some sort of continuity with the articles that I've actually written, and so the articles and the videos are line, I thought that I'd give you a special video today and I'll show you how to actually install VMware Tools. Although this isn't really strictly necessary, I don't really know why you would actually go across the recommendations of VMware, but if you have a reason to install VMware Tools as supplied by VMware, then this is how you do it. So the articles here, I'll put those in the description if you actually want to follow along some written content. And we're going to follow this roughly. So we connect to our ESXi server using a web GUI. This was covered in part 2. And if you remember, this is our desktop version of Ubuntu that I did in the last part. So this is how I install VMware Tools for Linux. And believe you me, this is a lot simpler than it used to be about 10 years ago, when you had to actually compile the drivers from source. We no longer have to do that anymore. So the first thing I'm going to do, as we saw when we installed VMware Tools for Windows, we effectively just click Actions, Guest OS, and Install VMware Tools. That's a little bit of a misnomer there, really. It says Install VMware Tools, because it doesn't really install VMware Tools, as it actually highlights there underneath. All that actually does is mount the VMware Tools, install the CD-ROM. So I'll just say Actions, Guest OS, Install VMware Tools, and we should quickly see the CD-ROM change here to a Linux ISO, which is actually included in the ESXi operating system. If you dig around, I'm just going to do a refresh and we might actually see that change. Okay, so there you can see that change, and if we click here quickly you can see that the CD-ROM drive has been installed, mounted into our VM. So this is how I do it. There are obviously various ways that you can do it, but this is how I like to do it. So I'm just going to basically do sudo bash. So I'm basically going to run a bash shell as sudo. I think I might have got the password wrong there. This just prevents me basically having to type sudo, which I tend to forget, in front of every line. I'm going to use the command mkdir /temp/cd-rom, and that's just creating a cd-rom directory under temp, and I'm now going to mount dev cd-rom temp cd-rom, and that's just going to mount our cd-rom, our VMware Tools for Linux, VMware Tools for Linux cd-rom, our ISO, and that's actually going to mount that in temp cd-rom. Now, some of these things could be very old-fashioned that you're seeing here, but you know, I've been around a bit, so I tend to do things that work in an old-fashioned sort of kind of way. So I'm going to change directory to cd-rom, and I'm going to use the list command. And there you can see in red our VMware tools.tar.gz, a good old tarball, equivalent of a zip file. You'd probably see zip files in Windows. We see tarballs, tar.gz. So it's a tar file that's also been gzipped. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to tab out again just to basically quick fill that, and I'm going to basically copy that to my home drive. I like to copy it to the disk of the virtual machine because I think that extraction of it is quicker. So this is actually on the virtual disk inside the guest. It's not on the CD-ROM anymore. And I'm going to use the command tar zxvf. I've been doing it long enough now that you know these command line options zxvf just come out of my memory. One of those is verbose, one of them is extract, one of them could be gzip, f, no idea. You'd have to really go away and Google what those options really mean. So there we go, tar zxvf, and what that's going to do is it's going to basically extract the contents of our tarball. So I'm going to do an ls-al, and you can see there's a VMware Tools distribution directory, and you can actually basically see there's a .pl, a Perl file. Perl? Yeah, Perl. A script basically. And we're going to run that script. I'm going to do /VMware-install.pl, and I'm going to hit enter. Okay, so it's actually telling me there open-VM-tools packages are available from the OS vendor, and VMware recommends using the Open VM Tools packages. So it is actually basically warning me that Open VM Tools is available. Open VM Tools is normally already installed when you would install an Ubuntu machine, as we've previously seen. And next video that I do will be about Open VMware Tools. So, pardon me. So it's because I've been drinking this orange because it's the hottest day in the UK today, and I'm sat in an office with a handful of servers on, and I'm not quite sure whether or not you can actually see that, but the temperature in here is 30.8 degrees C. So I'm absolutely sweating, and below, not in my underpants by the way, but below the waist here, I'm in my shorts because I'm absolutely boiling, so I do apologise. Okay, yes, I want to proceed with the installation, and I'm just really going to basically just hit the prompts. I'm not going to change them. I'm just going to hit enter, 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 and you get the sort of kind of thing. Enter, 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 you enter, and it's going to initialize. Yeah, obviously there was a segmentation fault there, which basically means there was a crash. There was a crash somewhere in some of the code, but I'm not going to report the problem. I'm just going to click cancel. No, I don't want to install that. No, I don't want to install that. Yes, so I'm just accepting the defaults, and hopefully if all is well. Okay, so basically there it's telling me that the installation has been successful, and if we actually basically look here, we can actually now see that we've installed VMware Tools. This is the version as supplied by VMware, and this is running. So take note of these. You may notice that these are a little bit different. VMware Tools version is compliant, and you may have noticed if you compare that back with the last couple of videos that we did, it actually basically turns around and says VMware Tools is not maintained by VMware vSphere, i.e. it's maintained by the OS itself. So when you actually basically update the OS, if there's an Open VM Tools available, then it will update that at the same time. And we'll see that obviously basically we'll compare that against an Open VMware Tools installation that we'll do in the next part. So I'm glad that this was a quick one, because it really is getting warm in here. And I'm going to get on. I'm going to do the Open VMware Tools video next, shortly after that one, and get them all uploaded to Experts Exchange. And then that almost basically completes the installation of virtual machines, guest VMs on our ESXi 7 server, our Dell R730 PowerEdge. Anyway, so thanks so much for joining me, and please endorse this video, and come back soon for another part. So all the best and stay safe. Bye bye.